What's up, guys? I'm Chad Barnes, and welcome to the channel. Here, it's all about real car talk, from simple fixes to smart driving tips and keeping your ride in top shape. If that sounds good to you, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button and make sure you watch all the way through. There's a lot of good stuff coming. Let's get
Most manufacturers write two types of power specifications on starting boosters, in amperes of output current and in liters of engine volume. And they would be glad to give up the latter characteristic, but the established marketing traditions prevent them from doing so. The consumer is used to it, although it is incorrect and unscientific to estimate starter current by engine liter. Yes, there is a certain interrelation, of course, with the growth of the liter, the starter power, and the current output of the battery. Of course, grow, but this dependence is not direct, as you may think. The correct approach is to choose a starter for your car, based on the cold cranking current of its regular battery. This is a figure indicated on the battery case with some letter index, more often EN, sometimes CCA or DIN, which means the standard of measurement in different countries. We have already talked about this in detail, and you can find out more about it in the article Choosing a Battery, Cold Start Current. What is this parameter and why it is so important? Although, if there is no desire to go into details, you can simply look at the current parameters of the standard battery in the car manual and choose a starter in accordance with them. How to do it? Simple enough. On any starting booster from a good, not no-name, manufacturer, there are two figures for the output current, peak and rated. Peak current is the short-term maximum for pulling the starter rotor out of place, literally for half a second, if not less. As soon as the brushes went on the collector and the flywheel came into motion, the power consumption of the starter drops rapidly, on average twice. Therefore, when choosing a booster should be based on the figure of peak current and compare it with the cold cranking current of the standard lead battery, the minimum recommended by the manufacturer of the machine. For example, if the manufacturer recommends using batteries from EN 480 to EN 520 amperes, then take 480. A conditional, but quite workable formula: battery cold cranking current minus 100 amps. That is, for a car with a battery with a starting current of 500 amperes, a starter with a peak current of 400 amperes and a rated current of 200 amperes is quite suitable. Nevertheless, there is still some very vague parameter of electrical power capacity of the car. Unfortunately, it does not appear anywhere, although if desired, it can be measured with an ordinary ammeter in the most ordinary amperes. What is meant? We simplistically imagine the current, which is given to us by the starting booster, as the current consumption of the starter, considering everything else negligible. But the more modern and advanced a car model is, the more it has various electronics that inevitably turn on before and after the start engine button is pressed or the ignition key is turned. These are tens of amperes of current consumption, which are inevitably added to the starter current even before the starter is turned on. And this unaccounted consumption can make the booster useless. Its charge and output is simply not enough. Therefore, for modern cars with large and powerful engines, primarily flagship SUVs with V-shaped configuration, and developed onboard electronics booster, manufacturers keep in their line of powerful models of starters with a new generation of lithium-ion battery, consisting of 4 series connected cells 3.7V. For example, such as Burkhardt JSL 15000 with 700 amps or the top-of-the-line model Burkhardt JSL 25000 with a peak current of 1300 amps. It is the 4-cell architecture of the new LiPo battery that increases its energy capacity. After all, the voltage of each cell in the charge state is about 4V, so the total operating voltage of such a starter becomes about 15 to 16 volts. If we measure in in liters, then JSL 15000 is designed for gasoline engines up to 5 liters and for diesel engines up to 3 liters. JSL 25000 is for gasoline motors up to 8.5 liters and for diesels up to 7 liters. Starting and charging device Burkhardt JSL 15000 output voltage 14 8-16 2V. Starting current rated a peak current 300/700. Battery type LiPo 3200 mAh X4 48 to 56W*H 50 to 60C discharge current. Time of full charging from USB mains adapter 4 hours. Number of start attempts when fully charged at least 20 starts. Device outputs USB 5V 2.4A, USB quick charge 5V 3.0A, 9V 2.0A, 12V, 1.5A, USB Type-C, 5V, 3.0A, DC 15V, 10A. Charging input, Type-C 5V, 3A. Optional, dust and water protection, work as a power bank, built-in flashlight, case included. Dimensions, 185 by 97 by 31 mm, 485 G. Starting charging device Burkhardt JSL 25,000 voltage at the terminals. 14 8-16 2V. Starting current, rated a peak current 600 1300 Battery type, LiPo 5200 mAh X4, 77 to 84 W*H, 50 to 60 C discharge current. Time of full charging from USB mains adapter, 5 hours. Number of start attempts when fully charged, at least 25 starts. Device outputs, USB, 5V, 2.4A, USB quick charge, 5V, 3.0A, 9V, 2.0A, 12V, 1.5A, USB Type-C, 5V, 3.0A, DC 15V, 10A. Charging input, Type-C 5V, 3A. Optional, dust and water protection, work as a power bank, built-in flashlight, case included. Dimensions, 227 by 97 by 36 mm, 865 G. The design of any starter from Burkhardt inherent protection against all conceivable situations, from overpolarization, overcharge, overdischarge, overheating, overload and short circuit, from overvoltage between cells, from reverse current and self-discharge. To load these gadgets properly, we took exclusively large SUVs with large liter motors. It's not easy to find such vehicles with dead batteries in large numbers just driving around the streets, so we went to our friends at a used car dealership, where several floors of a huge building are littered with them. Because of the high turnover of trade-in cars, managers physically do not always have time to recharge the batteries, which are sucked out by electronics when they are inspected by customers. We asked to find us a few models with the most voluminous 8 that stop starting, which we managed without difficulty. Cadillac Escalade 6.2-litre, 409 HP, gasoline, V-twin, 8-cylinder engine Infiniti QX 85.6-litre, 405 HP, gasoline, V-twin, 8-cylinder. Engine Toyota Land Cruiser 200, 4.6 litres, 309 HP, gasoline, V-twin, 8-cylinder. Range Rover Sport 2, 3-litre, 248 HP, diesel, V-twin, 6-cylinder. All of these cars are just the sort of electronically advanced cars that pull massive amounts of power at startup by numerous electronic modules. And to start their engines when the main battery is discharged, high power boosters are required. We tested Burkhardt JSL 25,000 on Cadillac Escalade and Infiniti QX80. Burkhardt JSL 15,000 was used in Toyota Land Cruiser and Range Rover Sport. The gadgets worked flawlessly, starting the monster motors, as they call it, with half a burst. Returning to where we started, it should be noted that powerful models of starters are much more universal, being suitable both for mass-budget small cars, which are quite primitive in terms of electronics, and for expensive cars with powerful engines and a developed network of onboard electrics. In addition, boosters with a large reserve of amperes live much longer on small and medium power motors, because they work without thermal and current overload. We could recommend devices like the JSL 15,000 or JSL 25,000 as universal for any machine, but rational economy should not be forgotten. Boosters for cars with 1.4 to 1.6-litre engines are still 2 or 3 times cheaper than the most powerful flagship models. And this factor is decisive for many people. P.S. Well, and in conclusion, let's dispel a popular garage myth that a starting booster of excessive power can burn out the starter of a low-power car. This myth has been disproved an infinite number of times, but it is as tenacious as a city cockroach. This myth, by the way, is extremely old. It was created not even by our fathers, but by our grandfathers and great-grandfathers. Initially, it concerned the standard starter battery of a car. Those who skipped physics at school were convinced that a battery with increased capacity and starting current can burn out the starter motor. Actually, this legend is debunked by a simple Ohm's law, known to every 8th grader. Any current source, including a battery, does not give out energy always and to the full maximum it is capable of. As it seems to some, it gives it out exactly in the amount that can take the resistance of the load. If the battery can deliver a current of 500 amperes, but the starter requires 300. It takes from the battery exactly these 300. And although how many times have told the world, nevertheless, with the appearance and the sale of those very starting boosters popular, misconception got a second wind. Although the theory and practice remained the same, whatever the potential total current of the regular battery and connected to it. The starter will take exactly as much as it needs according to Ohm's law. So if you have a smart and you have been given a Burkhardt JSL 25000 suitable even for trucks, use it safely. In conclusion, when it comes to choosing the right starter booster for your vehicle, understanding the relationship between engine size and electrical demands is crucial. Cars with larger engines, typically measured in liters, often require more power to start, making them prime candidates for high-capacity boosters. On the other hand, vehicles with high electrical demands, such as those equipped with advanced technology and features, may also benefit from a powerful starter booster, regardless of engine size. Ultimately, assessing your car's specific needs will ensure you select the most effective booster, providing peace of mind and reliable performance when you need it most. Thank you for watching, and drive safely.